This video is about how I painted this. A couple weeks ago, I rearranged my room and repainted the walls to make it feel more like my space. But after moving some furniture around in my room, something about this area felt off. So I thought, what if I painted something to go on the wall? And let's record the entire process. I have a few painting styles. But for this piece, I knew I wanted it to be more abstract. The idea is to paint something that represents growth, change, and rebirth. Step 1. Materials. For materials, I'm using a large canvas from Michaels, acrylic paints from the dollar store, and a few from Michaels. Paintbrushes, a yoga mat, an aluminum pie pan as a palette for my paint, and something to hold my water, in this case an empty coffee container. When I'm painting, I like to reuse materials like the coffee container and pie pan. Sometimes it's because I'm lazy and need to find something quick so that I can start painting. Sometimes I don't see the need to buy something new if I already have something that could serve the same purpose, just to save some money and also not contribute to waste. However, I've been using this pie pan quite a bit and dried paint is starting to warp the palette, so I'm starting to think about buying a more long-term use palette like a baking pan or like one of those enamel pans. One thing about palettes is that I like ones that are shaped like a plate or have a large flat surface, just because it's easier for me to mix different colors together. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. I'm painting on the floor because I don't have an easel at the moment, so I find putting a yoga mat down helps with my knees. I also really enjoy working on a large surface area like the floor, compared to a small desk. But if I had a super large desk to work on, I would probably use that. I've also been thinking about getting a desk easel. It's kind of like a normal easel, but it fits on your desk. Once I have all my materials gathered, I start painting the base layer. This layer, for me, is about getting a general idea of what I want the painting to look like. At this point though, I know I'm going to be changing the colors and some of the shapes throughout the painting process. However, the base layer acts like a sketch. At this point, I'm trying to figure out what I want the general idea to be. What's the vibe that I'm going for? How I want it to flow, etc. So it's not perfect. At this point, this is where I can make the most mistakes. Throughout the painting process, especially earlier in the beginning when I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want it to look, what colors to use, etc., I do a lot of visualizing, and it kind of feels like I'm solving a math equation sometimes. Like, if I replace X with the color red, how would that look? Or if I replace this thing on the painting with the color, with a light blue, what kind of complementary colors could go with that? What if I made the lines thicker? What if I did this, etc., etc. And once I'm done with the base layer, I start going over the same areas and refine any lines or shapes. For example, I might notice that an area of the swirly smoky shape that's happening, maybe a part of that needs thicker lines. Then I'll go over the area with another coat of paint, sometimes in the same color or a different color, and I'll refine that line so it looks better. So if the base layer was kind of like the first sketch of the painting, the refinement process is kind of like going over the sketch again, but adding in some more touches to make it look better. We're not adding the final touches, but we're just working on it, and slowly, with each refinement, the painting starts to come together more and more. Sometimes when I'm working on a big piece, I get burnt out. I get frustrated and overwhelmed. I'll start doubting myself or getting into a negative sinkhole with my thoughts. Over the years, I've realized that it was just a way for my mind to tell me that I needed a break. One of my go-to things to do when I feel like I'm in a slump is to go outside. It directs my attention away from what I'm focusing on, which in this video is my art piece, and it lets me focus on the bigger picture, which is that there are other things that can exist besides this painting. Sometimes I just need to step away and consume other visuals like the trees, flowers, sky, and animals of nature. I live in a little city called Winnipeg in the province of Manitoba in the country of Canada. I'm really thankful to live in a city that has a lot of like free public parks that are filled with beautiful landscapes. Yeah, I'm just really grateful that I can just step outside, go for a walk, refresh my mind, and then come back to a painting if I want to. One of my goals has been to venture into as many parks as possible, and in this one, or the one that I'm in right now, this one's actually called Assiniboine Park, and I remember coming here with my family when I was super young as a kid, and it's always just been like one of the biggest parks in the city. There's like different activities that happen here throughout the year, and thankfully it's about like a 10-minute drive from my house, so it's one of the places that I go to the most. So I finished painting these kind of smoky lines white, but my challenge I guess now is trying to maintain kind of the gradient that happens in these kind of spaces. So I want to do some more coats of paint, some more layers. Then I have to figure out what I want to do with this orange. Originally, I thought I was going to paint this like background area kind of an ultramarine blue, this paint from Michaels, and then this kind of like orange space. So it feels like there's like a fire in the distance. Clear up maybe like these areas. A big contrast between colors. I want to make it a little bit more gradient, and like right here too. And then just clean it up as I go. I just woke up and I'm kind of at the point of the painting where I'm not happy with it. I like aspects of it. For example, I really like the way the blue and the white looks together. Maybe the peaks of the orange that are popping out. I'm also not sure about this green thing. I like that something is like anchoring this piece in the background. I kind of want to paint like the rest of the background, the ultramarine blue, but also I like the vibrancy that I like how vibrant it looks. But then it's like the fear of whether or not it's going to turn out the way I want it to. What if it becomes ugly? What if it becomes something I don't like? I think it's time to make some ugly colors. Okay, The vision is coming back. I took a break and then I also like experimented a little bit more with the lines, making them a little bit thicker in some places and irregular, so it's not so like uniform looking, and I like that a little bit more. I think I decided I do not like the flames in the background, or maybe I do, they look nice on camera. I don't know. I was thinking doing a gradient from the blue to the orange, or maybe, now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like how there's like droplets of like blue, so maybe I will just continue doing that and then refining the lines a little bit more so it looks more like contrasty, like it looks more stark. Yay, we're almost done. After a couple more days of experimenting with colors and repainting many sections of this piece, we are finally almost done. There's a weird point in my process when I look at a piece and feel satisfied. I don't know what it is, but my brain tells me that looks alright. Another finishing touch that you'll see in a couple minutes is that I like to extend the painting to the sides of the canvas. Some people like to paint it a solid color, but I like to continue the painting on the sides because I think it gives it a cool look when you hang it up, and to me it makes a nice final touch. It's one of my favorite things to do when finishing a painting. There are still parts about this painting that I wish I could change, but for now it just serves as a reminder for what I could do in the future. One thing I would change would be to make a colored sketch ahead of time in my sketchbook. Another thing I would change would be to make the smoke shapes more dynamic looking. Maybe that means making some areas really, really thick and others thinner. Overall, I really love this painting. It's something that I've never created before. I've never combined my landscape and abstract flowy shapes together, so it was neat to see the final piece. I also like the botanical shapes that mix in with the smokiness. And as always, I love the way my eyes dance around the canvas and the contrasting colors. If you made it this far into the video, you'll probably like my other videos too. While you're at it, you might as well hit the subscribe button also. I'm hoping to make more videos documenting my growing and ever-changing painting process, and even just my life as an artist, teacher, person, being, and maybe some other kinds of videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Treat life like an experiment and never stop growing. Bye.